To today's video. Today on Mode Code we're going to talk about arrays in JavaScript. Arrays are just what JavaScript uses to store a list of things, and they can be anything. They can be objects, they can be integers, strings, or anything in between really, and a mixture of all of them. So in a very similar way to any other variable, we either let or const the variable out, and we state an array using square brackets like this. So we know that R1 is an array, and that is all you need to do to create an array. It doesn't have to have anything in it at that point. If we were to console log out R1, we will get nothing, because there isn't anything in it, because I haven't saved it. There we are. We get an empty array. So there are 4 or 5 functions at least, but we can start with an easy 4 or 5 functions that you can use with arrays to fiddle with them, to manipulate them, to put stuff on them, push stuff off them, etc. So with our array1, what we're going to do is we can use the push function to push a value onto it. So I save that, we then get an array with 1 in it. So, as you can imagine, if we push more items onto the array, we get more items in our list. Here. So the opposite of push is pop, and it takes no parameters, it simply pops the last item from the array. So if I was to do this, we'd get one array with the 5 numbers in it, and then one array with 4, because it's been popped off the end. So they're the 2 simplest functions you can do with arrays. What you can also do is manipulate arrays, and you can use a special function called map to do something to every item in an array. A map returns an array of its own. So what you can do is create a new array, 2 equals array1.map, and what you can do is it takes a variable and we give it an arrow function, and we tell it what to do with that variable. So A here is each item, so the map, this function works against each item in the array that's passed in, and then the whole function returns an array. So if we were to do A times 2 to here, we would get back, well, let's have a look. If I comment out this one and comment out this one, and console log out array2. There we are. So we've created the array, we've pushed a load of numbers onto it, we've popped the last one off, we've taken every element in the array and times it by 2, and then we've console logged out that array. That's pretty neat, I think, but it's not the be all and end all. So obviously with arrays you can store and send various things. So what I'll do, I've added a bit of an example array here. So if I clear this, we can have some fun with this example array. So this array is of 3 objects. Each of the objects has a property A and a property B, and the property B of each of the objects of this array is an array. Okay? So if I console log out the array, we can see it like this. So what if you can imagine that you've done an API call and it's returned a load of objects in an array as the response, but we're really only interested in the first property, the A property. So what we can do is we can create a new array, and we can say this is equal to the map of the array, the initial array. We're calling a map function, and we'll take each element of that array and throw it a scenario function. Now this A here will represent this entire object here. So all we want is A.A, because we are after the A property of that object, and that will return an array that only contains the A property of those objects. If I save that and run it, there we are. Win first. Win first. Brilliant. But what if we only want an array with the unique values of A here? So what there is as well with arrays is a function called set. So I can say const r2 equals new set of array1. And what this does is it takes an array as the input parameter and returns an array of the unique values of that array, the unique values within that array. So here I can save this, I can run it again. There you go, I just get an object with win and first. So what about the B here? So if I go to get B instead, in this case I'll get an array with 3 arrays in it, and that's sometimes not what you want. Sometimes what you want is an array with the values out of those inner arrays, and there's a special function called flat that you can use in order to do that. So I can either create a new array here and say that equals array1.flat, and that will work. So I can save that and run it, and it will give me an array with lose second, third, which is the contents of those inner arrays. Or in a slightly more obvious, easy way, I can just put it in line here, and that will work as well. There you are. So that's push, pop, flat, map, and new set. 5 pretty useful things you can do with arrays. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you at the next one.